welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Matt, did you know that Kevin Harvick has 600 lead lap finishes in the Cup Series in 786 Cup Series starts? He is the first driver in Cup Series history to reach this milestone. That's absolutely impressive. I didn't even know that happened until I saw that fact. So very cool. But anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Fob Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host Christian, aka Savage NASCAR.
What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are having a fantastic week. And it feels great to be back on the show. I mean, I haven't been on here in like a week or two, so it's good.
You were on the last episode.
So I'm sure that this will be a fun one. I mean, we got plenty of things to talk about. The Harvick factor is really crazy, by the way. I'm actually wearing a Harvick t-shirt on right now, but we got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into, some controversies, the clown of the week, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start with Xfinity.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff to talk about. Xfinity Series race, didn't really get to pay too much attention to it. Heard AJ Allmendinger won. What did you think of it?
AJ again, his fourth straight win on the road won Xfinity Series. That is crazy. I mean, he just put on a dominant performance. He did lead 25 laps. Ty Gibbs, who finished second, led 24. But then again, the Xfinity race wasn't too crazy, but a lot of the guys you expect to be up there were up there, like Noah Gragson. We saw Justin Allgaier up there, Brandon Jones. They were all really solid. Landon Castle was too. But nothing too crazy. There was some guys with road course experience in this race, like Brad Perez, Daniel Kvyat. That's another one. Alex LeBay. He ended up finishing sixth, if I'm correct.
Nico Andretti.
Yeah, and then of course, Michael. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that because I was about to forget. He was in that as well, but all in all, there was some wrecks in this one. One of them got Riley Herbst. Mark Andretti was in a wreck, so it was Casprella. But I thought the Xfinity race was pretty solid, better than last year's. But what did the people have to say?
One said great, so 25%, 50% said good, 25% said message okay, nobody said bad. Dalton.malak_9 says, okay racing till the final restarts since late caution spiced things up in the end. 7 out of 10. Not terrible. I heard that Ty Gibbs was really fighting at the end. I got to take a look at that finish. He couldn't get to him, and a lot of people were like, man, I wish Ty Gibbs would go back to being dirty. I'm like, well, why complain about it now? And then whatever.
Well, contradicting themselves. That's
exactly. Driver of the day, AJ Allmendinger. I think I have to agree with that. 4 straight wins on that track since inception. I got to agree with that completely.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely the driver today. I mean, the Xfinity Series race, the next race is, of course, at Las Vegas.
Sorry.
Round of 8. But one thing I will talk about real quick. Last time the Xfinity Series was at Charlotte, Jeff Burton got into an altercation with Noah Gragson, and then post-race in the Xfinity Series, he got into a heated argument with his teammate, Anthony Alfredo. And, of course, Jeff Burton, he's a pretty solid driver, someone that, I think is someone that I would root for. But what is going on with Burton this year? I would personally ask him if I have the gut to do it. But what was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've forgot that happened, to be honest. I saw it. It's kind of weird because I don't know what happened because first of all, I didn't watch too much of the race. And second of all, they don't really show where Jeb is at. Like any TV crew really doesn't show too much racing from where Jeb races at. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why he was upset with Alfredo. It sounded like they just had a little bit of a disagreement with a racing deal, but I don't know. Jeb just seems like if you touch him the wrong way or you move the wrong way on the track, he's going to get mad. Like we saw it with Noah Gragson, and Gragson just passed him. He didn't do anything. He just went low on the track. It was a clean move, and Burton was upset about it because I guess it slowed him down because of the air. I don't know exactly why he was upset with that. And I really don't know why he was upset with Alfredo because I couldn't get any onboard video from Jeb Burton's helmet cam, which he usually has. So I don't know really what happened, and I don't know what to say, but you shouldn't be fighting with your teammates unless Jeb is secretly going to be out of his ride next year and we don't realize it.
Great point, Mike. That was the best way to go about it, best way to say that. I'd have nothing else added on that.
Yeah. So now we got the cup race. This race was a tad bit controversial, but what did you think of it?
Yeah, very controversial, but honestly, it was better than last year's. I feel like, the beginning of the race, there was some bumping and beating for positions. And I felt like there was a lot of passes, in which there was. And it was actually at one point at the beginning of the final stage, if I'm correct, the longest green flag run ever that NASCAR has had at the Roval was like it was 57 laps, which is pretty crazy. I was like, this thing may go green to the end, and Elliott's going to run away with it. But no, a caution came out for debris. There's part of a sign that fell on the track. Kyle Larson, he was above the cut line, but needed to have a good finish to clinch a playoff spot in the next round. He hits the wall. He loses. I think like the toe link got knocked out or something. They had to fix that. He lost laps. And of course, my Daniel Suarez pick did not come into play, and it did work out because he had a poor handling car. He lost spots. He got to run it with Corey LaJoy, and that was a shame as well. And Rosh has same watch stage too, so that's pretty cool. But he ended up falling back. He lost laps. But I thought that the race was really solid, even though I don't want the Roval to be back. I still think that they should run the oval in both of the Charlotte races, but it was pretty good up until the final laps. It got chaotic and crazy, people moving each other out of the way for points. I mean, we saw Austin Cindric running into the people. Chase Briscoe being a little aggressive there, which he had to do, and it was really cool to see him get into the next round, which shocked me. Being a Stewart Haas Racing fan, it shocked me, but I'm happy for him. Kevin Harvick, I was hoping he was going to win, but it didn't work out. He got second, but man, Christopher Bell just had a really strong car there at the end, and those cautions definitely benefited him. Chase Elliott would have won that race if he hadn't had that caution and then got spun out, but um, better than dealing with some of the crazy Chase fans, I guess, 2 weeks in a row. Um, but what was your thoughts on the race there and with some of the stuff that occurred on the final laps?
It's kind of like it wasn't too much of an uneventful race besides the stuff that we will get into in a little bit. Chase Elliott not winning. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. I mean, it had to happen at some point. Bell winning was an absolute walk-off. Congratulations to him. That's really great. And I realized you said either Daniel Suarez or Christopher Bell was going to go to the final four. So you still have a dog in the fight. It's not only Daniel Suarez. I remember you saying both of them. So you still have a chance of not doing a dare, and me and Cam will end up looking stupid saying that Bell or Suarez won't make it to the final four. But so far, me and Cam are correct. But no, in all seriousness, though, Bell is doing a much better job this season than I thought he would ever do. He has been really quiet, and I never really thought to look at Christopher Bell's stats. A lot of people that point out that, look, hey, he's having almost as good of a season as a lot of the drivers that a lot of people talk about, like Chase Elliott, for example. Nobody talks about Christopher Bell. He's a great driver. And, it's been very underrated this season. He's been very underrated this season. I think what he's got 2 or 3 wins. I can't remember.
Bell has, I want to say two, but could be.
Yeah, I knew he had at least one, but yeah, I mean, that's still a great season for him. He could potentially make it to the final four. I don't think he will personally, but would it surprise me at the rate that he's been going? Not really. So, I wish him well, even though I'm not that big of a fan of JGR. I wish him well. Um, Talking about the stuff that happened, which was the controversy. I mean, starting off with Joy and Suarez, that was such a weird thing. I don't know what happened between them. I just saw at the end they were just talking. I don't know why. Just Corey LaJoy doesn't seem like he gets into issues with drivers. Daniel Suarez, I know he's had a couple of different run-ins, but he doesn't seem like another driver that would like get mad at other drivers. So it was just odd. And Chase Elliott too was mad at the cameraman. I saw him pushing the camera out of his face. I was like,
Yes.
yeah, but the main topic from the race that I wanted to talk about was the Cole Custer incident. If you
Okay.
haven't seen that, here it is.
Slow up. I think we got a flat tire. Check up. Check up. Just fill it out. Good. Left. Little tire rub. Little tire rub. Still there. Still there. Fill it out. Good. Come on back. You're okay. Little tire rub. Keep coming.
So I got mixed feelings about it because they just penalized him today. They docked him like what, 25 driver points? I got to look at the actual penalty, but I know they fined him 100K.
Yeah.
I'm looking up NASCAR right now. Let's see.
50 points,
50.
$100,000, crew chief suspended. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because it did sort of benefit his teammate to get into the next round, but at the same time, I feel like Larson was going to miss it either way because he hit the wall. Here's that. And then he ended up finishing 35th. So I don't think that affected it too much, but I understand where NASCAR is coming from with this penalty because it kind of influenced the outcome. I'm not entirely sure how much it influenced the outcome, but it kind of did. But at the same time, we've seen this stuff so many times where like drivers will block other drivers, like Chase Elliott did to Kevin Harvick last year. We saw Ross Chastain do it for Kurt Busch again last year at Atlanta. We saw Joey Logano do it for Ryan Blaney. It's been done before, and those guys didn't get penalties. So I don't know exactly why Custer's getting a penalty, but I do know NASCAR is trying to be stricter with their penalties, as we have seen. Even though they appealed the William Byron penalty, they won it. That's why Byron was able to advance to the next round. I think personally they should have kept the penalty because I understand why it was a penalty, but it was still awesome to see Denny Hamlin get wrecked. But this is not Texas anymore. This is Charlotte. Um, Overall, it was just a very odd situation. I don't really know too much of what to say about it. I'm not on like, oh, he should have been penalized or oh, he shouldn't have been penalized. This is so whack. NASCAR's whack. So
The thing is, right, if you watch what happened, Briscoe, he was battling, I think it was Todd Dillon and,
right.
someone was behind him, Eric
Correct.
Johnson. Custer was already slow.
Right.
You saw the video. He was slow, and it looked like he like braked really, really early, but at the same time, he did hold up the other guys. But Briscoe was already moving to the inside lane, so I
Right.
don't think it really would have mattered that much because he only gained like what, one spot from
One
that.
or two spots. Yeah.
No, I don't think it was that big of a deal. It's nothing like the Clint Boyer with Mike Waltrip racing thing at Richmond 2013. I don't think it was like that extreme. But then again, of course, there's the people on Twitter and Instagram that I've seen that have been going, he should have made the next round because of that, just complaining, like always. That's all NASCAR fans do. But anyways, I feel like the ending was definitely crazy. There was that wreck at the very beginning of that restart. If you haven't seen that, here it is.
Side by side and carnage in turn one. 6 cars turned around. Can they get going again? Out front is Christopher Bell. He's past the 4 of Harvick.
Gregson got turned around. And Austin Cindric, no, it wasn't Cindric. He did end up spinning, but Ryan Blaney, which that discount tire team threw me off because I thought it was the 2 car or the 22, but it was really Ryan Blaney in the 12. He was involved in that too. I know Brad Keselowski was involved in wreck towards the end, so was Logano. But yeah, it was a very clean race, mostly up until the end there. There was a couple incidents before then too, but I thought the race was really solid. Nothing too great. I mean, nothing bad, but man, I wish Harvick would have won. But happy for Briscoe that he got in next round. If we look at the standings real quick, or at the plat bracket, if I could load it, Man, a lot of guys that I had correct, but a lot of them that I didn't. You have it. Okay, I'm looking. Okay, it's loading. Yeah, Chastain, of course, made it to the next round, thankfully, even though he had that scare there, with basically finishing like 30th. But Blaney, what is Blaney's fifth now in the standings, Byron sixth, Hamlin seventh, Briscoe's eighth. But man, I really thought that Suarez was going to make the next round. If he didn't have that poor handling car and all the stuff that happened with him, I feel like he could have definitely got in.
Yeah. I was very close. I missed Kyle Busch. That's Christopher Bell, obviously. And then I missed Kyle Larson, which is Chase Briscoe. Otherwise, my round of 8 is looking pretty solid.
Mhm.
So, let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 0% of you said great. 25% of you said good. 75% of you said that's okay. And none of you said bad. Dalton.malak_9 says calm racing in stages 1 and 2. End of stage 3 got very intense. Shocked Larson's out. Yep, I agree with that.
Mhm.
No thoughts on the 41's move. 60% of people are on Suarez's side and 40 are on LaJoie's side. Nobody said why. No driver of the day. I don't know. It sounded like to me that Chase Elliott had the most dominant car. Could be wrong. But then Bell made that good move, so I might give it to Bell.
Well, the thing is with this one, it's like really hard to
Yeah.
choose one because there was multiple guys that led about the same laps. I mean, AJ did lead 24.
Right.
He ended up finishing like fourth, which by the way, AJ, I feel like had a really good chance of winning that race towards the end. He was fast all day. I may have to give it to him. But who should I give it to though? That's the question. I would want to say probably Bell because of just how fast he was, but I'm gonna give it to the guy I just mentioned.
Interesting. All right. So, do you want to do meme of the week or should we get into some of these juicy topics?
Did we have any polls about Suarez and LaJoie in any of that incidents?
Yeah, I did. I said that Suarez got 60, but there was no thought. Suarez 60, LaJoie 40.
All right.
I don't know. I guess we could get into meme of the week and then some of these juicy topics.
What do you mean by that? But anyways, okay, memes. Let's see here. So one of them that I saw was by NASCAR Memes IG. Larson fans realizing they won't have a chance to repeat championship. I mean, he always comes up with really clever ones. Same thing at the last lap. They always come up with clever memes. No, Gregson hearing that Alex Bowman is out. That was that one was funny, even though, like, of course, it's not a funny topic, but I like that one there. That one was by Memes IG as well, if I'm correct. Yeah, he's had two really solid ones. Another thing that's found that's kind of odd was the Garage Guys one with the F1, NASCAR, and IndyCar, the DARF chart. So, a comprehensive guide to understanding dumb race fans. F1 Netflix subscriber trendy pops Molly basically as trust fund insecure due to social media addiction, which is actually pretty true. I would say most F1 fans are like that. And then NASCAR lives in fans, potentially homeless, alcoholics, lover in Christ in Twitter bio and hates reading, which I think is pretty accurate. And then IndyCar is up for debate. IndyCar fans are a little similar to F1, but not like as toxic for sure. But those are a couple that caught my eye this week.
All right. My favorite was this one by Dirty Mo Media.
Oh, I got your nose, Chase. I got your nose. Whoa, hey, take it easy, man. Take it easy. Just your nose. Whoa, hey.
thought that was pretty clever, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely shed light on the Chase Elliott situation. Just I don't know. It's just a unique little thing. I liked it. I like these videos of like these people doing these skits. Like the last one that we mentioned with the Dale Jr. being referenced on Jeopardy. That was funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, now let's get into some of these topics. This week had a lot of like good discussion topics. So kicking it off, Dodge was in talks to return to NASCAR, but unfortunately they declined, which I assume is for two reasons. One of them was confirmed, but I think the other one is just kind of my speculation. The first reason, which is what they basically stated, is that they were going to be focusing more on NHRA, which okay, makes sense. I mean, they've been established in that sport for a while. No other NASCAR teams, at least I don't think, I could be wrong, are mostly satisfied with their manufacturers. I don't really see too many changing except for Stuart Haas. I think they would probably be the only one that I could see changing manufacturers to Dodge if they do come, mainly because that's what Tony Stewart runs in his drag racing team. And also, I think Stewart said he wasn't really pleased with the Ford after Larson's thing. But yeah, other than that, I can't really see any other teams switching. So it's understandable why Dodge is not coming back, and also because they are going all electric, which I do not want to get into because it's disappointing. Yeah, very disappointing.
Yeah. Well, with Dodge, like I had heard early on in the year from like a source that Dodge was probably that they were in talks about coming back. But the news, of course, was that talks had stalled. Unfortunately, I mean, I would love Dodge to come back. I'm tired of just seeing only Ford, Toyota, Chevy. I want to see more manufacturers. So it's a shame that they are stalled the talks that they're probably not going to come back right now, which is pain being a Dodge guy. But in regarding some other news, I guess one thing that we saw was what was it? AJ
Nas- oh,
AJ full time in the Cup next year. Great.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he definitely will contend. I mean, I don't think he's going to contend for like a championship or anything next year. I definitely think he's a playoff driver in colleague racing. I mean, he's been so good in the Xfinity Series, and I'm glad that he's finally back full time in the Cup Series after so many years.
I say he easily gets in the playoffs. I'm very happy to see AJ. I was a little surprised because I didn't think he would want to come back to the Cup Series, but I'm very happy that he's back in the Cup Series, and I will definitely be rooting for him this next season. Let's see. We also got NASCAR is having a lot of financial trouble from what it sounds like. They're not really giving the teams their dues, apparently. And the new media deal is coming up. And with a new media deal, it's just like other sports, like we just saw with Major League Baseball, that they got to discuss all this stuff with the teams, how much revenue the teams are going to get. And it sounds like the teams are not very pleased with how much revenue NASCAR gives them. Apparently, Jeff Gordon said that Hendrick Motorsports has not turned a very big profit. So that really sucks. I don't know what percentages the teams get because NASCAR is very quiet about how much the drivers make, how much the teams make. And I don't know how much really anybody gets on like the merch because after thinking about it, you would think that Hendrick would have a pretty decent profit after their cars made the playoffs. All of them made the playoffs 2 years in a row, first of all. Their driver just won the championship. He's one of the more popular drivers, Larson. Larson is one of the more popular drivers now. Elliott is one of the more popular drivers. I mean, you can't go to a NASCAR track without seeing a bunch of Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott shirts nowadays. So you would think that they would have some sort of a profit, but I don't know if how much percentage of the merchandise NASCAR's taking compared to how much the drivers and the teams get. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if NASCAR goes into a lockout. It seems like a lot of teams and drivers are really unhappy. And you know what? if a lockout will solve the problems that NASCAR is having, I hope that they go into one. I know that's a little controversial, but I just want to see a good product on the track. I want to see the teams and the drivers get their fair share, and I want safe race cars. I know that, yes, the cars are safe, but I really want to see NASCAR make the changes, which I hear that they are planning on making the changes to the rear bumpers, which thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by the news, especially considering how big Hendrick is as a company and, as automotive, I don't know the correct term, but I mean, I am quite surprised by all this. I mean, I'm not really surprised by how much costs are now because everything's so expensive now, especially like having a team and, having new cars and everything like that. I mean, NASCAR kind of threw themselves in a hole there with the new car financially, making everything so technical. So they should, as I've said on like many videos before, NASCAR is going away from stock, and the new car is not even really like a stock car. So yeah, it's sort of a shame. I hope the TV deal is good to where people can watch it and not have to pay a bunch of money. Like USA, not everyone has that. So, I
Yeah.
was able to watch many of the races this year. I was able to see the NBC and Fox ones, of course, but yeah, I know a lot of fans will not be happy if it's on, say, for instance, Hulu or something like
Yep.
that.
I
Yeah,
was getting into that. There's an
people
apparent
watch it.
rumor.
Like,
I was I was getting into that. NASCAR is apparently going to have, or rumored to be wanting to talk to streaming services to stream the NASCAR races like the NFL does with Prime, which not surprising because streaming has definitely been the way to go. There's nothing really good on actual TV. I mean, streaming has some good shows. Like I've been watching Cobra Kai on Netflix, for example.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not surprising to me, but it will definitely hurt for a lot of fans that don't want to pay all that money for streaming services because it does get very expensive unless you get it packaged in a deal. Like when it was time for us to get Netflix or not Netflix, excuse me, Xfinity. Netflix came with our deal, so we got lucky with that, but not everybody's lucky with that. They have to pay for Netflix, and it gets very expensive on top of everything else. So I hope NASCAR doesn't do it, but if they do it, I'm not going to be surprised by it.
Yeah.
Um, and then the final topic is the clown of the week. Now,
Oh,
this was been talked about in my chat, and it is Natalie Decker. Now,
yeah.
we have talked about her numerous times on the channel. She has been the clown of the week, I believe, once or twice. I know at least once when she blocked you. Very funny segment of our show.
Well, that was quite an interesting thing, and it wasn't because she blocked me. It was the way like she went about it. But
It
anyway,
was still, it was still hilarious. I'll never forget that moment. But the reason why I say she is the clown of the week is because of this tweet that I am about to read. I walked into 4 bars by the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and none of them had the NASCAR race on. Even worse, they wouldn't change any TV to the race because of football. I'm not sure what you think, but maybe we should just end the race season before football starts. And here's the part that gets her clown of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Ask football to start later. Okay, first of all, Natalie, if you're watching this, which I highly doubt you are, I understand your point that NASCAR should end the season earlier because they only get about a month and a half, 2 months off until they have to go back to racing. These teams and the pit crews and all that, they got to keep working year in and year out. They don't really get too much of a break. The drivers don't get that much of a break. So I would like to see a longer off season. And I've always thought, like, why don't these guys get a longer off season? Like, for instance, the NFL and the NBA, those are like 3-4 months long, and they get plenty of time for a break. NASCAR drivers are just always on the move. So I understand that ending the season earlier may help because it also sucks because, I mean, let's face it, as much as I love NASCAR, I love football too. And I know that most people don't want to watch NASCAR every week. They want to watch football. So it is hard to compete with football. So I get that point of we should end the season, but oh, let's ask the NFL to end the season earlier. What do you think they're gonna say to that? They're gonna laugh in your face. There's
Oh,
Natalie. Oh, clown of the week right there for that ridiculous tweet. You sound very entitled, and please shut up, Natalie. Thank you.
well, I will say the beginning of that tweet was okay. It was going fine until she mentioned that they should shorten the season and, like, wait to the NFL, wait for the NFL should wait to NASCAR season. Like, what in the world are you like? Where's your mindset? First off,
Yeah.
like going into that, like, how's that logical? Because it's been like this for what? Ever since NASCAR started, football has like been the same time period. Like it just doesn't make any sense why you would say that. Another thing I want to bring up: why are you at a bar watching the race when you can be at the race? You live in North Carolina, right near Charlotte, so why don't you go to the race instead of complaining that it's not on the TV? Are you broke or something? I know you're not, because I'm sure you have plenty of. I'm sure you have plenty of sponsors, and I could get more into that, but like, get your butt off of the seat and go to the race instead of going to bars and complaining and being like, "Oh, it's on TV." You could literally drive there. You don't have to be lazy. I mean, come on. I mean, heck, even try to drive a race or something. We all know how that would go. But anyways, definitely clown of the week for sure. I mean, that was outrageous. But Decker moment.
Yeah. All right. Really quickly before we end the episode, race picks. Xfinity Series, I'm going with Justin Allgaier.
He stole it again. I got him too.
Okay. And then for the Cup Series, I got Ross Chastain.
Ross is someone I would think could win, but mile and a half, he's had stuff happen like blowing tires, so I'm not going to go him. Xfinity race, I'm going to change it to Josh Berry. And for the Cup race, I had Larson, if I'm correct, but I'm going to say Logano wins. And I'm going to say dark horse pick is Daniel Suarez. I think he could get it done. He's really good at Charlotte and Texas. So I think Suarez could get it done.
All right. We're picking each other's favorite drivers. And so with that, that will conclude this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Block Decker.